Hello, welcome to Dungeon Girls Podcast. I'm your host, Justin. So, we're reviewing a Western, which I know we're supposed to be reviewing Christmas movies, but I don't know, I took a break and reviewed, and watched a Western film, which is The Missing. It's a 2003 film starring Ron Howard. Directed by Ron Howard, not starring Ron Howard. And the movie is based off a book. The story is by Thomas Edison and Ken Kaufman. I think Ken Kaufman did the screenplay. And the movie has like an all-star cast. You got Tommy Lee Jones as Samuel Jones, Cate Blanchett as Magdalena Gleason, Evan Rachel Wood as Lily Gleason, Jenna Boyd as Dot Gleason, Eric Schwag as Cheetan, Aaron Eckhart as Brake Baldwin, Val Kilmer, who's in like only one scene of the movie, as Lieutenant Jim Ducharme, and you got like Ray McKinnon as Russell J. Wittick, who was in Deadwood, right? And that's pretty much. Elizabeth Moss is in the movie, right? And Clint Howard, Ron Howard's brother's in the movie, right? For like one scene, he plays the useless sheriff. So the movie is about it takes place in the Wild West. Cate Blanchett plays Maggie or Magdalena Gleason, who is a doctor who owns this ranch that Aaron Eckhart works at, right? And they're dating. Cate Blanchett's character has two daughters, one a teenager named Lily, and and a younger daughter named Dot, who both have different fathers. One, Lily, I can't remember. One of the girls' father was Magdalena's husband, who ran off because he didn't like the rancher life, and one, they say in the movie, right, which was pretty dark, right. So what happens in the movie is that basically, Cate Blanchett's character gets visited by her father, who went Indian, who joined the natives, right, and it became like this, like he's a hunter who joined like the Native Americans, left his white family, that's what they call it, white family, to join the Native Americans, right? But even they don't like him so much, right? Which you find out later on in the movie, because they gave him like a nickname that means shit for luck, because because he doesn't. Apparently, Native Americans don't value people who who don't value family, right? Because he ran off, right? So like the story is going on. It's like Tommy Lee Jones goes to visit his estranged daughter, who he hasn't seen since she was a child, right? Because he ran off. Because of this, Cate Blanchett's character, Magdalena, hates her father, right? And doesn't want him around her children, right? What ends up happening is Lily, which is Magdalena's, which Cate Blanchett's character's oldest daughter, goes to town with Brake, who was there to sell cows, because they run a ranch. Um, Lily came along because they were gonna show off, like they were gonna have a fair on the future, showing off the latest machines, right? Like the latest machines, right? And what ends up happening is they get attacked by rogue Indians who who were part of the army but deserted, right? Because um, because the army hanged their chieftain, right? So they deserted, and they're led by this shaman character, who's like an evil, ugly bastard, who like in one scene in the movie, because one of his captives pissed him off, right? He blinds him. He blinds him, and then cuts his heart out, right? Uh, which was a pretty messed up scene, right? Though the movie is not too gory, right? It is violent at times, but it's not too gory, right? So what ends up happening is Magdalena go once she finds out that her daughter's been kidnapped by Indians. Goes to the army. Goes to the sheriff. The sheriff uh, won't send men after the rogue Indians because they have the fair in town, right? Which is like, what the fuck, Clint Howard? What a piece of shit. I love how Ron Howard has his brother played like the most despicable character in the movie, besides from the main villain, which is the shaman, right? And the army is chasing the Native American, the rogue Indians in the wrong direction, which is led by Val Kilmer, right? The army, the Fourth Cavalry, right? Which Val Kilmer, man, it sucked that Val Kilmer was barely in the movie, because this was a little before he got fat, right? Yeah, and ruined his career by getting fat. That and the throat cancer didn't help either. Poor Val Kilmer. Right? Which, when I saw the trailer for the documentary, I thought that was him doing the narration. Apparently, he has a son who sounds exactly like him. Which is like, what the fuck? Yeah, but I still haven't seen that movie yet, because like somebody was right that it's pretty much like a puff piece. Like, yeah. So yeah, because like she has the army and the sheriff can't help her. She goes to the only person who will help her, which is her father, right? Um, yeah. So like, yeah, they go after the Indians. They realize that the Indians are heading to Mexico to sell the girls, right, as slaves, right? And they meet up with two Native Americans, right? Who one's a father and son who knows Tommy Lee Jones when he was living with the Indians, right? And they're after the same people because um, they kidnapped the bride of the son character, right? And boy, they were originally going to. There's a scene where um, you know how whenever you have the final, whenever our characters fight the villain, right? You have the thing where they lose and then they come back a second time. That happens, but it's like, dude, I felt bad for the one Indian guy, the one that was helping our characters, because he goes. What ends up happening is Tommy Lee Jones' character goes to try to buy the girls back, right? And what ends up happening is that because the shaman is a evil fucking bastard, sees that Tommy Lee Jones is a white man pretending to be a Native American, he decides, yeah, I'm gonna kill you, but I'm gonna kill you like a Native American. Blows dust in his eyes, which at first you think it's like the glass dust that he used to blind the other character, right, in the movie, but it turns out I think it's some kind of drug, right? Obviously, because he's not bleeding from the eyes like the other guy, right? And like is beaten and like left for dead. While that's going on, the Native American goes to rescue his son's bride and tries to rescue Evan Rachel Wood, but Evan Rachel Wood um, sees that it's like an Indian guy with uh, her mother's uh, crucifix, right, or cross, and thinks that like he killed her daughter, her mother, and starts screaming, and because of that, then the Indian guy gets caught and killed, right? Which was like, man, fucking stupid bitch. I mean, from her perspective, like she was kidnapped by Indians, so it's like uh, so it's like it makes sense for her to be wary, but it's like she should have put two and two together. But the movie's like yeah, like you kind of need like you know how it go like movies. You have Murphy's Law where like you kind of need shit to go wrong to add drama to the plot, right? Yeah. So I don't know. I really enjoyed the film. I thought the characters were well written. Um, I thought it was a pretty realistic, western. I didn't think that they should have brought the Dot along. Uh, Dot, the youngest girl, along, right? But it's the thing where like they kind of needed to because like the stupid kid was like, I'm gonna follow you guys if you leave me, right? And it's like, and the stupid kid, like, there was a scene where they were going to ambush the rogue Indians, right, and kill as many of them as they could before the negotiations, right? Because Samuel Jones thinks like, oh, if, the more we kill them, the more likely they'll be to negotiate, right? And like the kid fucks everything up by, um, like, looking, like, using binoculars and getting them spotted by the rogue Indians, man. One thing some people might get turned off with in the movie is that, magic is apparently real in the movie, where the shaman guy finds like a brush with Cate Blanchett's hair on it, and uses it to place a curse on her, and then like our characters have to perform like a ritual to remove the curse, right? So it's like, what the fuck, dude? You're having like magic be in like what was uh at that point like a realistic a realistic western, right? But like overall, I thought the movie was good. It gets pretty dark though, because like there's like the a mother and her young child was kidnapped by the rogue Indians, and the kid dies, right? And like the mother kills herself. So there's like some dark shit in the movie, right? If you're not a fan of watching dark, depressing shit like around Christmas time, the movie it gets a little dark, right? But overall, it does have like a happy ending, like near the end, right? So yeah, I would totally recommend this, and if I were to give it a rating, 8 out of 10. The music was good, the acting was good. Like Tommy Lee Jones was a badass in this film, right? And whenever they have like these old badass characters, you know, you it, it there's like this thing where like it's kind of unbelievable, right? But like there's like a badass scene where like Tommy Lee Jones gets uh almost gets killed by the 4th Cavalry, right? Because they think he's an Indian, right? So he has to run away from him, and you see him break, jump through like a glass window, like roll on the ground, disarm a dude, take another dude down, grab his shotgun, and like it was like a pretty badass scene, man. And it was very high energy, and like the entire time it looked like, obviously for the glass window scene, they probably didn't use Tommy Lee Jones. They probably used a stuntman, but like I thought it was very good that you showed like a scene with your old character doing high energy, like athletic stuff to let us know that, oh yeah, this old character, despite the fact he's old, can still be a badass when he needs to. And because they were using, you saw like Tommy Lee Jones' face during those action scenes, it made it believable, right? So I thought that was really cool. Yeah. And the final, I some people might not like the climax of the movie, right? Because it was a bit It was, I wouldn't say it was a bit anticlimactic, but like it could have been better. But overall, I thought it was fine for what it was. Um, yeah, which I'm not gonna spoil how it ends, but like you get like a heroic sacrifice. I'll say that, which is kind of a spoiler, but whatever, right? Yeah. So like I said, if I were to give this movie a rating, I would say it's an 8 out of 10. It has kind of an above average rating on IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, and Metacritic. I thought Metacritic was only for fucking video games, but apparently they review movies too. I don't know. I thought the movie was very good, and it's been a while since I've seen like, a western that was like good. I sucks that I missed this movie because I think around the time this movie came out, the only westerns I watched was like 310 to Yuma, and this probably is, if not better than 310 Yuma, as good, right? Yeah, so like I said, I thought this was a great movie. And I was thinking of watching another Western when I was checking on Tubi, right? And Tubi, because like I didn't see any other good looking Westerns on like, Netflix except for Silverado, right? Yeah, so I was checking on Tubi, and they have these westerns that look like they had like Charles Bronson on the covers. And I'm like, what the fuck? Because I would look at the year it came out, and it would say like 2019, 2020. So I did some research. There's apparently a Hungarian actor who looks exactly like Charles Bronson and is doing movies, but in the trailers to those movies, he never talks. So it makes me think like, oh, this guy probably has a very Hungarian accent, Hungarian English accent. So he probably looks a lot like Charles Bronson, but doesn't sound like him at all, and that's why they don't have him talk in the movies. But like, what sucks is that like apparently this Hungarian guy who looks a lot like Charles Bronson, people say he's fine in the movies, but like the movies he's in suck. So I don't know. If you guys want me to watch and review some movies with this fake Charles Bronson, let me know. Or we could review actual Charles Bronson movies, which I haven't seen a lot. I've only seen like Death Wish, Once Upon a Time in was it not Once Upon a Time in America? Once Upon a Time in the Old West, and like those are the only like two Charles Bronson movies I've seen. I've probably seen more Charles Bronson movies. I just don't remember, right? But yeah, but like Death Wish and Once Upon a Time in the Old West are great movies, right? Especially Once Upon a Time in the Old West. That's probably in my top like 10 westerns. Which maybe one day I'll make like a video talking about my top 10 favorite westerns, right? Yeah. Which I would need to rethink what they are, because as much as I like Kioma, Kioma, that's probably not there, but Django might be, right? Yeah. So yeah, that's all I gotta say for this review, guys. Later today or tomorrow, I'll post a review for 8 Crazy Nights. All right, guys.